Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our SWAC football head coaches media session for Monday, October 21st. We will begin approximately at 10:05 with head coach Maynor from Alabama A&M, head coach Robinson from Alabama State at 10:15, coach Cedric Thomas from Alcorn State at 10:25, coach Raymond Woodie of Bethune-Cookman at 10:35, coach James Colzie from Florida A&M at 10:45, Coach Mickey Joseph of Grambling State at 10:55. Coach Alonzo Hampton of Arkansas Pine Bluff at 11:05. Coach Kendrick Wade of Mississippi Valley at 11:15. Coach Bubba McDowell of Prairie View A&M at 11:25. Coach Terence Graves of Southern at 11:35. Coach Chris Dishman from Texas Southern at 11:45. And Coach T.C. Taylor from Jackson State at 11:55. At this time, we ask that all media participants that are joining us on the call, if you have questions, please use the raise your hand feature to get your questions in the queue for our coaches. If there are questions in the queue, we are going to limit to one question. If we have additional time, please feel free to re-raise your hand to get a follow-up question answered. Please keep your lines muted unless you are actively asking a question, and please wait to be acknowledged prior to asking your question. We will pause momentarily. We will pause momentarily. We appreciate your patience. The time is now 10:05, and we will begin with Coach Maynor from Alabama A&M. Good morning, Coach Maynor.
Good morning.
Just start us off with an opening statement about your bye week this week.
Yeah, I mean, we had a bye week, and we needed it. It's just that it's that time of the season, right in the middle of the season, where you get to make that stretch run. So we needed it. We had some guys banged up, and it was good to have that open week to get those guys back in the training room, get them a little bit more healthy. Um, Concentrate on the grades, guys that missed some assignments, make sure we got all those assignments turned in. And then at practice, we got the younger guys in there to get those guys some reps and kind of set out the guys that we want to make sure that we had those guys ready to go this week against State in the Magic City Classic. Big football game. The main reason is the next game on the schedule, but it's a big football game, rivalry game. Throw the records out. Eddie Roberts is going to have his guys ready. So we got to be ready.
Thank you for those opening statements, Coach.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to open the floor for questions for our media members. We have a question from Doc Holliday.
Can't hear you, Doc.
Can't hear you, Mr. Holliday.
All right, there we go. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. How you doing, Coach?
I'm doing good, man. How you doing?
I'm good. With the bye week that you just had, what was the things that you try to focus on more offensively for the team?
The same things always. Just executing at a high level, not turning the ball over, making sure the guys are making the right reads, know exactly where they're going, making the right reads on the defense. Just doing all the little things on offense, not dropping balls, being focused, and if we can continue to do that, hopefully we can play in the last couple of games.
All right, and my second question is, are we going with Langford as the starter for the game to start off the game with this weekend?
Yeah, we're going to start Langford.
Okay. That was the big question I needed to hear.
Yes, sir.
All right, you have a good one, Coach.
All right, you too, man.
We have a question from Perry Daniels.
Good morning, Coach.
Good morning, Perry. How you doing, man?
I'm doing super fantastic. Hey,
Great.
Coach, let's talk about the Magic City Classic, its importance to your fan base, and its importance regarding recruiting.
Very important with both. I say this a lot, and it's more than just, it's not everybody, but it's some people. They say, hey, you don't win no other game, win the Magic City Classic. Only game you got to win is Magic City Classic and homecoming, of course. But it's huge for the fans. It's huge for the fans. We got the press conference on Wednesday, and after the press conference on Wednesday, I always take the two players I take up to the press conference by the stadium, and it's already packed. It's already halfway packed with tailgaters and people in RVs. And so I let those guys see how on a Wednesday afternoon at 1:00, people are already preparing for a game on Saturday afternoon. And it's both fans. It's our fans and their fans. It's just huge, huge, huge. It's the last weekend in October every year. And you could just set it on your calendar, and people set their vacations for it. And it's just a huge, huge deal for both sides. And we need to make sure we can get back in that winning category again. Coach Roberts has done a great job the last 2 years, so we need to get back in winning that. And then recruiting, of course, is right up there in Birmingham. I think we have like 5 players right now that's on our team from Birmingham. So it's big for recruiting for us to continue to get those guys from that area. And so we want to put on a good show and have another good football game.
Thank you, Coach. Good luck.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Now we'll hear from Charles Bishop.
Morning, Coach. How you doing?
Good, Charles. How you doing?
Doing well. I wanted to ask you, you have one of the top-ranked offenses in the league, and of course, you're a brilliant offensive mind. But when you match up against this Alabama State defense, what are things that really stick out for you with regards to how they look on film?
Oh, man, they fly around. They swarm to the football. I think that's one of their slogans, man, is all 11 to the ball. And they try to do it every play. But they're so good up front. They front seven. And that's why they always good up there, always good up front. And then they got good secondary guys. You know, they had two great secondary guys last year. You know, it's hard to throw on them. It's hard to run on them. It's just hard to execute. You got to really execute at a high level, take what they give you. They don't give up a lot of big plays. And then when it's time, you got to drive 12, 13 plays against a good defense. It's hard to do. You know, either you miss-execute or get a penalty. And it's just tough. It's always tough when you go against Alabama State. You know they're going to be ready defensively, special teams. You know they're going to be ready. And then they solid on offense also. You know, they got some little backs that's tough to bring down, tough to tackle in open space. So we got to do a great job of tackling and getting our fits this week, or those little running backs can be going on some long runs. So it's just tough, and we know it. They got one of the top defenses, and they always have one of the top defenses in the league. We got one of the top offenses, so that's why you play the games.
No doubt. Appreciate that, Coach.
Yes, sir.
We're still fielding questions for Coach Maynor. Once again, Coach Maynor, thank you for taking the time to join us this week, and we look forward to speaking to you on next week.
All right. Thank you. Good luck to everybody.
The time is now 10:12. We'll be joined by Coach Eddie Robinson of Alabama State at 10:15. Looks like we have Coach Robinson here now. Coach Robinson, if you could just give us an opening statement about your bye week.
Yeah, so the bye week was good. We had a couple guys that were banged up, of course. Focused on academics, and the biggest thing was just to try to get everybody to go home for a couple of days, take their mind off of football. We all know that this is the Magic City Classic, the biggest game of the year, so everybody's excited about it. And so we don't have to have the enthusiasm speech; we just have to go out there and make sure that we're focusing on what we're doing. So just focusing on the little things. Giving Key a couple more reps so he can get more and more comfortable at the quarterback position. So that was a big part of it. And just getting guys back on campus and ready to play.
Thank you for that. At this time, we'll have a question from Doc Holliday.
Coach Robinson, how you doing this morning?
Doing pretty good.
You just hit on the nail with Key as your quarterback. How is he feeling as far as this week coming up, since it's another big game for him, and what is his confidence like?
Yeah, he doesn't lack confidence. Just from the standpoint of we had the last bye week, he was still kind of picking up the offense, and we let him play in the little scout game, and he had a lot of confidence in that. That's what made us think that he could go out there and actually play and do something this year as opposed to having to wait. And he's a quarterback in high school. He's from Minor High School right in that Birmingham area, so he's definitely familiar with the Magic City Classic. He understands the stage that it's on, and so he's going to get prepared and going to go out there and play. And Zach will still be ready in case anything goes wrong. But may see one of them or both of them, but we'll start with Key and then see how it goes.
I appreciate you, Coach.
Absolutely.
We have a question from Perry Daniels.
Good morning, Coach.
Good morning. How's it going?
Super fantastic. How are you?
Good, good.
Hey, Coach, if you could talk about the importance of the Magic City Classic to your fan base and from a recruiting standpoint.
Yeah, I think Coach Maynor talked about it. You know, the Magic City Classic and the homecoming, and for us also Turkey Day. We have the 100 Turkey Day Classic coming up at the end of the year. But Magic City Classic is the game that everybody talks about the whole year. Every time you go to Birmingham, I don't care what time of the year it is. You know, Coach Maynor and I go there for the golf tournament. They're all talking about the Magic City Classic. So it's a big game. So we understand it. It's a great game to play in. It's fun to coach it. The city does a great job. The fans do a great job, and not just the Alabama State and A&M alumni. It's just the people in the city. I think the people come out for the game and they really support it. They've done it for decades, and so we're just happy to be a part of it.
And from a recruiting standpoint, Coach.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, we recruit a lot of kids from Birmingham area. We have about 7 or 8 on our team now. There's a big deal that the mayor has set up with the Birmingham Promise, where kids can go to an in-state school and their tuition is paid for. So it's just a lot of advantages, and that's with the Birmingham city schools. And so we understand the advantages of recruiting from kids from that area. And my biggest selling point is that you get to play in the Magic City Classic for the next 4 years, and so 4 or 5 years, and that's a big deal for those kids. There's no school on Friday. There's no football games this weekend. So the whole city is focused on the Magic City Classic. It's that big of an event.
Thank you, Coach. Good luck.
Absolutely. Thank you.
We are still fielding questions for Coach Robinson. We have a question from Charles Bishop.
Okay.
Hey, Coach Rob, how you doing?
Pretty good. How's it going, Charles?
I want to kind of follow up on what you were talking about in regards to Kareem Key and just trying to kind of ascertain sort of the development process in that he's, new to the position for you. But I did want to just kind of go into, like, what have you guys have been doing to sort of prepare him for the rest of the season?
Well, I think the quarterback position, I've never played it. Coach Maynor probably could answer the question a little bit better, but it's one of those positions where you just have to have it. And so it's like a certain it factor. You can teach a guy to play, you can drill work and everything, but when you get in the game, you just got to have a feel for it. And it's just a knack. And I think he just has a feel for the game playing the quarterback position, and that's what you saw. And it's a confidence aspect of it, but even with confidence, you still just have to have a feel for making the right decision at the right time. So the kids know I'm always preaching consistently good equals great. And that starts at the quarterback position more than anywhere else. If you can consistently make the right play, make the right decision, then you can have a great game at the end of the day. So that's what we're preaching to him. But just week to week, he's been picking up more and more. I mean, he started off as a receiver in training camp. Was probably one of the last guys added to the roster. And nobody thought he would be a quarterback right now. And he was focused on being a wide receiver. But as the injuries happened early in the year, we were looking for who's an emergency quarterback. So even then, you know, he was going to be the emergency third string quarterback, but he just kept looking better and better in practice, picked up the offense extremely well, met extra with Coach Barnett, really took it upon himself to learn everything and put himself in position to start a game in the Magic City Classic. So I tell the kids all the time, when your opportunity comes, take advantage of it. And it's a perfect example of a kid who is taking advantage of his opportunity. So we'll see how it goes.
Great insight, Coach. Appreciate that.
Absolutely.
We are still fielding questions for Coach Robinson. We have a question from Kendrick Marshall.
Yeah, Coach. The importance of the Magic City Classic aside, how important is it for your team to continue to stack wins, knowing that everything you still want to accomplish in the SWAC East is still ahead of you moving forward?
Yeah, I think both teams are in the same position as far as our position in the SWAC East. Neither team can afford to lose a game, so it's a lot of importance there. But I think regardless of SWAC records and everything else, is the Magic City Classic. So we've talked about the importance of where we are within the conference and the standings, and all we can do is win one more game. So we try to win today. So we want to win Monday, then win Tuesday, and give ourselves a chance to win on Saturday. But for us, it's the Magic City Classic. Whether it's a big game in the East, and all of that is important, but the most important is just the Magic City Classic. So I don't know. I think it may be hard for some people outside of the state of Alabama to understand it, but if you come to the game, you understand how important it is to try to do everything you can to win the Magic City Classic. And the benefit to me is it's also a SWAC East win. But the most important thing is just the Magic City Classic.
Yeah, and talking about that game, Coach, your team has won the last two. Why have you guys been so successful most recently against Alabama A&M in this particular game? What kind of factors have kind of played into that?
Well, if you look at the games, I mean, the records are really close. I think A&M has maybe a 4-game lead, so it's a true rivalry. Both teams go back and forth. Um, we're playing well, and most of the games come down to the last play. The first year, the game came down to the last play. Last year, it was a play at the end where it was with more than a 7-point lead, but still, it was a close game the whole time. It was, a big play at the end of the half by them and then by us. So I'm expecting this game to come down to the last play. That's how it usually is, and both teams are going to play. Neither team is going to quit. If you're down by 21, up by 21, you're going to keep playing hard all the way to the very end. And usually it's going to be an unsung hero type of kid that's going to make a play. And so that's what we're expecting. And everybody has to be prepared, because when you have your one chance to make your one play, it could be the play that helps us win the game or the other direction. So we all understand the level of expertise and the level of attention to detail you have to play in this type of game.
We want to thank you, Coach Robinson, for taking the time to join us this morning, and we look forward to speaking with you on next week.
Good. Thank you.
The time is now 10:22. We will be joined by head coach Cedric Thomas of Alcorn State at 10:25. The time is now 10:25, and we're happy to be joined by head coach Cedric Thomas of Alcorn State. Good morning, Coach.
Morning, sir.
How you doing today? If you could start us off with an opening statement about your team's game against Southern University.
Yeah, back in Louisiana again. Southern's homecoming, and we knew the area, knew the landscape, and knew what was on stake. Knew what was at stake. Started out, playing our kind of football, but just kind of sputtered there. Their defense stymied us a little bit and turned the ball over. A couple times. Uncharacteristic first running back fumble we had all year from Sewell. And we find ourselves going in the half tie ball game, and we kind of felt optimistic about that. And then fourth quarter, it's 14-14, and just ran out of juice. They made two explosives. They kind of put that thing out of hand. Just kind of grounded, pounded us, and held on the time of possession, and we couldn't throw it around enough. And so guys fought to the end, but just fell short. And so good thing we got an off week to kind of right some wrongs and feel some things, get some things corrected. But shout out to Coach Graves and that staff. They did a hell of a job.
Thank you for the opening statement. Now we'll have questions from our media. We have a question from Perry Daniels.
Good morning, Coach.
Good morning, sir.
Coach, did you get a chance to see any high school football Friday night in Baton Rouge?
I didn't personally, but a couple of coaches was out. They got a chance to watch some really good football in the area.
Absolutely. If we could talk about the defensive line of Southern University, they had 4 sacks against your quarterback. Talk about that aspect of the game.
Yeah, preseason player of the year caused us a lot of frantic plays. He did a really good job of coming off early, forcing a fumble, and getting the turnover, on one of our seniors. That was a good matchup. We thought, last year he had a decent game against them, but those guys kind of dominated the line of scrimmage for us, and found the OC, doing some things, trying to move the pocket, and just try to help those guys out. And they just, they beat us up front, and that kind of halted us from doing a lot of things just in the pass game, but also in the run game. And Coach Graves had those guys really rocking and rolling up front.
Thank you, Coach.
Yes, sir.
We have a question from Stephen Robinson.
Good morning, Coach T.
What's up, Steve?
All right. I was just curious to know how you're going to handle this off week, and what do you expect to see from your team over the next number of days before your next game?
We're going to get in, and we're keeping everything as is, just as far as a preparation standpoint. So we'll get on Alabama State, knowing that they got a game, but we'll check out the other games. So we'll meet, we'll practice these next couple of days. We won't bang as much, but, clean up some individual work, technique work, fundamentals, things that we know, down the stretch can really alter a season. And so that'll be the main focus, just overall is getting healthy. We got some guys banged up, and get some guys treated, and then just fall off in the classroom, do a good job making sure academically we on course, to hold up our end of the mantra, school is cool. So that'll be some things we can do. And the guys will be excited getting them back in Sunday to get this bad taste out of everybody's mouth in the building.
And a follow-up question, if I have time, Coach. Your mentor, so to speak, Fred McNair, what was that like? Did you all have a chance to speak before the game? And were there any conversations after the game between you two? But what was the exchange like for a guy that you worked under prior to him going over to Southern?
No, it wasn't in it. It was business. Business trip, for both parties. I know for me also, it was my team versus, Coach Graves' team. And, I didn't get a chance to see Coach, and I know later on down the line we'll bump into each other. But my focus and goal was to try to go in there and get a win and be 4-0. And once it was over, it was time for me to get those guys, back to the reservation.
Thank you, Coach.
Yes, sir.
We have a question from Doc Holliday.
Morning, Coach. How you doing today?
What's up with it, Doc?
I'm doing good. Team gave up close to 300 yards rushing in this game to Southern. What are the things you want to try to fix during the bye week before you head back into SWAC play?
Get some guys healthy. We had a couple guys out up front, and they took advantage of it. We got some big stops on fourth down, right before the half, and then that first half, and then just kind of got some guys banged up, so we got to do a better job of getting the right people out to match those personnel groupings, and so we got to get in the lab and do a really good job of closing some of these gaps off, so guys just can't have that type of success running the football against us, because just looking at the Alabama State tape, that's kind of what those guys want to do. So we definitely gonna have to be ready.
And my second question is, you want Xavier Vaughn threw for 76 yards, but he also had a key interception late in the game. What are the things you want to try to do to implement as far as the passing game to try to improve that for the next game?
Yeah, I got to get with those Cedar, figure out, what can he do at a high level. We're just leaving too much, too many plays out there. And in this league, you got to be able to throw the ball and be efficient. So, we're going to have some long, hard conversations about that going forward. That ain't college football. I think we could have got a Pop Warner team to throw more yards than that. And that's no slight to Southern, but we got good enough athletes that can get open, and we got to get the ball to them.
All right. Appreciate you, Coach.
Yes, sir.
We're still fielding questions for Coach Thomas. Perry Daniels.
Coach, with that being said about the quarterback play, is it possible we may see Tyler Macon at the quarterback position?
It only been a Wildcat spectrum. We got some things they can do, that he can do, but from back there, he's starting to nestle in at the role we got him at, but it may not be him, but it could be somebody else. They can throw the ball and be efficient. We got time to go over it and kind of self-scout ourselves, but I don't foresee me going to too many more football games where we can't throw the ball more than 10 for 21 and 70-some yards passing.
Thank you, Coach.
Yes, sir.
Do we have any more questions for Coach Thomas? Well, once again, Coach Thomas, we'd like to thank you for taking this time out with us this morning, and we look forward to speaking with you on next week.
Appreciate it, sir.
Yes, sir.
Time is now 10:35, and we're joined by head coach Raymond Woodie of Bethune-Cookman. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning.
Yes, thank you so much, Coach. If you could start us off with an opening statement about your team's outing against Mississippi Valley.
It was a really good environment. Coach Wade had those guys ready to play. It was their homecoming. We started off 2 early turnovers led to quarterbacks change, resulting in 2 touchdown drives before the half. Defense opened the second half with a stop, and the offense put field goal on the next drive in to extend the lead, and then defense got a goal line stop on 4th down, and the offense ran the ball on 16 to 17 plays to close the game out.
Thank you so much for that. We'll open up the floor for questions. We have a question from Perry Daniels.
Coach, congratulations on the victory.
Thank you.
Coach, would you say that your team came out and played like they expected to win this week?
Yes, I would say that. I mean, obviously, last 2 weeks, in and out of hotels, practicing at different facilities. I'm proud of the guys. It's been a long road, and that's why you put yourself in those adverse situations to see how your team going to respond, and they responded well.
Excellent, Coach. And your team has had some real life challenges more than just a game. Let's talk about where they are mentally, Coach. Where is the morale of your team currently?
Well, I'll tell you what, they're glad to be, back in the city of Daytona, to see familiarity of the different things that they're used to be able to practice, on their facility and then be around, campus. I think the families of the individuals that was affected by the hurricane, they're doing well as expected. So life is back to normal.
Thank you, Coach. Good luck to you all.
Thank you.
We have a question from Doc Holliday.
Good morning, Coach. How you doing today?
How you doing, Doc?
I'm doing good. Recently, your team has kind of went away from the pass. You started to run the ball a little bit more with over 200 yards rushing in this last game. Tell me some things you want to try to implement in for the next game against Jackson State.
Well, I know Coach Taylor gonna have those guys ready to go. We're a really good football team. Obviously, we said we want to be able to run the ball in the beginning of the season. I think now, we got some young guys up front that's actually doing some of the things that we need for them to do. And then freshman at tailback, then as he's starting to come into his own. So we definitely want to be a team to be able to run the ball. You got to be able to run the ball and to be able to open up the pass. So I'm happy with the guys being able to, run the ball, and especially the guys up front opening those holes.
And my second question is, even though this was pretty much almost an even game for most of the day, you ended up going 3 for 3 on 4th down efficiency. Just give us a idea about as far as how the offense was clicking on Saturday.
Well, we had a couple guys that went down, up front, and I figured, hey, we're in a position where, we got to make something happen, and felt real confident going for those 4th downs, and our guys obviously responded. And we practiced those situations, so that wasn't really a surprise. We put those guys in those type of situations during practice, so we was excited that it showed up in the game.
All right, appreciate you, Coach.
Thank you.
We're still fielding questions for Coach Woodie. Coach Woodie, we'd like to thank you for joining us this morning, and we look forward to speaking with you on next week.
Thank you.
The time is now 10:40. We'll be joined by head coach James Colzie of Florida A&M at 10:45. Thank you for your patience. Coach Colzie is having some technical difficulties. We'll be back with you momentarily. Good morning. We're happy to be joined by head coach James Colzie from Florida A&M. Good morning, Coach.
Hey, good morning, guys. Sorry about that. I had a little Wi-Fi issue down here. I apologize.
No problem, no problem. If you could just give us an opening statement about your team's recent outing against Jackson State.
Well, we've done a pretty good job of finishing football games, throughout the year, and throughout, I guess, at least my tenure here at Florida A&M, and obviously with Coach Simmons being our previous head coach. But Jackson State did a very, very good job finishing the game. If I could have drawn it up to have us up 21-20, 4 minutes left on the clock, and our offense coming on the field, I would have taken that. Credit to Coach and his staff to finishing the game stronger than we did, and ultimately taking the victory. Obviously, we gotta wipe that off and get ourselves ready for a really, really good Southern team that's coming into Brack Stadium this upcoming weekend.
Thank you for that. We're now opening the floor to questions for media members. Reminder to please limit yourself to one initial question, and then you can re-raise your hand to get back in the queue for questions for Coach. Your first question is from Doc Holliday.
Coach Colzie, how you doing this morning?
I'm doing well, Doc. How you doing?
I'm doing good. I didn't get a chance to interview you from Saturday, but I guess I got it right here today. With the game being 21-20 in the second half, what was the thing that you kind of did as far as making adjustments in the second half, or if you felt like the adjustments wasn't enough in the second half against Jackson State?
You didn't. You thought obviously first half. The points being scored. You thought it was going to be a high scoring affair. You get a bunch of turnovers in the second half on our end, right? Where we might have maybe derailed some of their drives. And then we as an offense we couldn't run the football. So I wouldn't necessarily say it was adjustments. I just thought guys, we did a good job of causing turnovers. They did a great job of stopping our run, and then making us less effective on third down. Well played football game. Well played football game. I thought. Obviously quite a few turnovers, but they were called, right? Daniel Richardson's fumble was called, right? We had Kendall Bowler's interception was a great interception. So you had some high caliber players. You had two high caliber teams with some really, really good players making plays, and the last two big plays were made by the team who won the football game. So I'm credit to them. You hate to lose a game like that, especially when you feel you put yourself in the best possible situation on the road against a very, very good football team. But credit to them. They finished where we did not.
And my second question is the hit on the sack, fumble recovery for a touchdown late in the game. What was your feeling about that?
Well, it was 3rd and 7. You know, we have some things in place, especially during our 4-minute offense, where you know we still throw the football to try to get first downs and things of that nature. You know, it should have been a simple throwaway. Jackson came off the edge. They brought 2 off the edge. You know, and you know, one of our running back picked it up. You know, got inside on our one of our offensive linemen, and you know, the clock was ticking, right? You know, you got that clock in your head where if it ain't open, you got to throw it away, right? That's a play where, you know, it's supposed to try to find something to go to number 2 over the middle. He was well covered. So, you know, you find a place on the sideline to throw the ball away. So, you know, we would have been it would have served us better to throw the ball away and allow us to punt. And you know, and obviously allow Jackson State to try to score. You know, you had a field goal. You had a guy who was, you know, he had already missed 1 or 2 field goals that afternoon. But you know, we held on to it a little bit too long. You know, they caused the fumble, and you know, Jackson State had a scoop and scored touchdown where, you know, we had a couple opportunities where we had some scoops but didn't score. So that'll be an added thing that we definitely need to make sure we work on this week as well.
Appreciate you, Coach.
We have a question from Jim Klein Peter.
Hi, Coach. Yeah, would you
Hey,
talk a little bit about what impresses you the most about Southern, and especially with the win they had Saturday?
Well, you know, they've you know, just like Jackson State did this past weekend, they did a hell of a job of finishing football games, right? They've done some things in overtime, you know, and you know, they had a couple things early where you felt that you know, early in the year, you know, you didn't know, they were probably trying to figure out where they were gonna fit their team wise, where they were gonna fit in the SWAC. Now they're 3-0. They won some tough ball games. They protected their home, you know, this past weekend against a very, very good Alcorn State team. So they're coming in very, very confident. You know, they get a win this weekend. They've kind of etched themselves and put themselves in a good spot. So, you know, it'll be you know, the last 2 games that I've been in part of against Southern, they've been, you know, games that have been games that went to the end, and we were ultimately excited to win the football game. But if we don't finish Saturday, we could have that same feeling again if we don't finish the football game.
And if you would you just talk a little bit about Daniel Richardson's progression this year, stepping in for a guy who played so well for Florida A&M?
Well, you know, I mean, we when you look at his total stats, right, you see good numbers. You're seeing high level touchdowns and things of that nature. You know, we've missed a few. You know, I think over the last couple of weeks, and you know, and again, you know, he's done some really good things coming into this conference, and you know, this conference is different than the other 2 conferences that he's played in, right? You know, you got a hell of a lot more athletes, and things are happening a lot quicker, you know, at this stage because of the defensive line that you're playing with, the high caliber defensive back play that you're having to see week in and week out, and you know, and we come in and talk about, and you know, as you're mentioning some of the great things that he's doing, but when him and I communicate, you know, it's about things he wishes he could have done better, you know, things that my offensive coordinator and our coach with some of the checkdowns he may have hit, right? So, you know, he's doing a great job. And again, you know, you got a guy who took over for a guy who had the control of the locker room over the last 2 years. So it's a week by week thing. It's a daily thing that he has to continue to improve on. You know, the guys are fully behind him. I'm fully behind him. You know, there's some throws, some reads you wish we could have maybe went differently. Obviously, the one that everyone's talking about is the sack fumble and things of that nature. But you know, when we made our decision of who we were going to use as our starting quarterback, you know, the 2 big reasons that we stood on was, you know, getting rid of the football quickly and taking care of the football, right? So, you know, those are things that as we continue to reevaluate, that's what we got to have, right? We got to get our read, get the ball to our athletes, and allow them to make plays where, you know, obviously 21-20, ball was held on too long, and then obviously we fumbled, and then you know, a huge momentum shift after that football play. So again, doing some really good things, but as he'll tell you, you know, he wishes he could, you know, he wishes he could be a little more close to perfect than maybe he has been.
We have a question from Perry Daniels.
Good morning, Coach.
Hey, Perry, how you doing, boss?
I'm doing well, sir. How are you?
I've had better. I've had better Monday.
I get it, Coach. I totally get it. Let's talk about your defense, though, Coach. Your run defense seems to be an area of weakness, giving up over 200 yards a game, and Southern seems to be finding their run offense. Talk about that aspect.
Well, I mean, I thought we held on pretty well this past weekend. But you can't with the athletes in this conference. You can't miss a tackle, right? We had a great hit on my man on the 54-yard run where if we lock our arms, it ends up being a 5 to 6 yard gain where we miss a tackle, and now the guy's going 54 to 55 yards for a touchdown. So, I love we're playing more gap sound than we may have been earlier in the year. Now we just, again, it's going to kind of go back to us just finishing tackles, right? Quarterback Jack State. He's a great athlete. He did a couple things where he scrambled and made some plays, but we got some one-on-one tackles where in the past our guys made them. This year they have not made them as consistently as we may have want, and those are leading to runs. We do a lot of things one-on-one. We cover one-on-one. Our individual, our one-on-one tackling. We work on that constantly and consistently, right? And those are things that we have to continue to get better with, because a lot of the things that we have to do because of our defense is in the open field. So, if we don't improve on that, our rushing yards are going to continue to stay in the upper 200 yards. But, you look at that 54-yard touchdown run, our star fits the gap the way he's supposed to fit it. He doesn't wrap up. Mulligan gets the fight song started, right? So, we got to continue to be better with that, if we're better with that, our rushing yards will start to improve. Our rushing yardage defense will also improve.
Thank you, Coach.
No problem.
Yes, Coach. Thank you for joining us this morning, and we look forward to speaking with you next week.
Thank you, man, and good luck to everybody this week.
They don't give us a little. Yeah. But Little been found no money for the indoor facility already. He just said we should have raised $1 million. I'm on this call right now.
Good morning. We're now joined by head coach Mickey Joseph of Grambling State. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning. How y'all doing?
Doing well. If you could just give us an opening statement about your team's outing against Arkansas Pine Bluff.
Well, it was good to get back in the win column. The kids played hard. We asked them to focus and we asked them to finish. We asked them to win the middle eight, and they did their part. So we just got to continue to improve as a football team and improve as a coaching staff, and just try to keep this thing going. But it was a good win for the kids and for Grambling State University.
Thank you so much. Now we will open the floor from questions from our media members. Perry Daniels.
Good morning, Coach. Congratulations.
Appreciate it, Perry. Thank you.
Hey, Coach, can you talk about the defensive back that you have out of Madison Preparatory Academy in Baton Rouge, Jones?
Yeah, David Jones. David Jones, he's a good player. He's a kid that, he's still learning how to play the game. We got to put extra time in with him. He's work on his technique, but he had a really good game this week. But he's a kid, his ceiling is high for this kid. This kid's got NFL talent. He's just got to continue to get better every day that he comes in the building, and he's got to improve every time he gets on the football field. But he had a really good week this week. But he's been playing at a high level, and we got to continue to get him to do that.
Thank you, Coach. Good luck.
Appreciate it.
We're going to take a question from Charles Bishop.
How you doing, Coach Joseph?
I'm good.
I wanted to ask, thus far, what have you seen from this Texas Southern football team when you look at them on film?
Well, first of all, they're well coached. They run, they play hard. They run to the football. They have some really good players. So, they're really a dangerous football team when they're in Houston. So when we looked at them, they get off blocks well on the defensive line. They had a really athletic quarterback. But, we got to continue to watch him today. We kind of watched him a little bit yesterday. We're going to continue to watch him today. But what we see is a well-coached football team and a scrappy football team that's going to get after you.
Sure thing. Appreciate that, Coach.
Appreciate you.
Doc Holliday.
Good morning, Coach. How you doing?
Good morning, Doc. How you doing?
I'm doing good. Got your victory for homecoming, and now you move on to Texas Southern. But the real issue is the penalties, over another 100 yards of penalties. What is the things you want to try to do to make sure you want to implement the discipline with the team?
Well, we working on it. We continue to work. We continue to stress, what we can do and what we can do. We got to recognize how the game's being officiated, and if it looks like we're doing some extra stuff, we need to stop it. And it starts with me. I spoke with the team this morning, and it starts with me. It starts with my aggressive style. I'm aggressive across the board, and so we're a little too aggressive for some of the officials, and I understand that. So I have to get back to the drawing board with them with the penalties, and just the bonehead penalties, the personal fouls and the face mask, things of that sort, and the non-moving penalties. That's what hurts us right now. But I got to do a better job as a head coach to get them to throw their hand up and not to retaliate when they get slapped first. I got to get them to throw their hand up. I got to make them do what most men can't do, is walk away when somebody slap you in your helmet. So, and I'll do that. We talked about it this morning. We made a pact this morning that we're going to walk away. Doesn't mean that I'm a lesser man, but we're looking at it right now. No name, no faces. I don't even know that guy over there, so I'm not going to get in a personal dispute with him, because we don't identify by names when we have scouting reports. We identify by numbers, because we don't want to make it a personal battle, because it's not. It's football, but when you getting slapped first, things of that sort, and they come into your face mask, it's hard for some of these kids to walk away. But I got to do a better job as a head coach to get them to walk away, and I will.
All right. Appreciate you, Coach.
Appreciate you.
Kendrick Marshall.
Yeah, Coach, both Miles and Ashton played yesterday. How would you assess the performance of each quarterback, and we continue to use two quarterbacks moving forward?
Well, they both is average. I'm still disappointed that they're not reading it out. They're not making the reads that they need to read. So we'll go back this week again and give them equal reps, and see who comes out on top and see who will play on Saturday.
So what will you look for in making that decision to determine who will play on Saturday in terms of what they're going to do in practice?
Well, who's going to be more consistent? Who's going to read it out? Who's going to put us in the right play? Who's going to be a quarterback? And that's the problem I'm having right now with both of them right now.
Coach Joseph, we want to thank you for taking the time to join us this morning.
Yes.
And we look forward to speaking with you again next week.
All right, appreciate you. And good luck to you fellas this week. I'm out.
At 11:05, we'll be joined by Alonzo Hampton of Arkansas Pine Bluff. Thank you for your patience. Time is now 11:05, and we're joined now with head coach Alonzo Hampton. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning.
Good morning. If you could just start us off with an opening statement about your team's last outing against Grambling.
Obviously, it wasn't the result we wanted. Felt that we had the opportunity to win the game. Just made too many mistakes in the fourth quarter. Didn't get it done. So it's time to get back to the drawing boards, get ready to play the next game.
Thank you for those comments. We will take questions now, beginning from Tanner Spearman.
Good morning, Coach. Homecoming this week for you guys. I remember last week after homecoming, we talked about the crowd that you had for that game, and you were hoping to see that kind of crowd every week. If you win this week, you'll be 3-1 at home. How far do you think that would go toward getting the fans to buy in and be able to show up to the games again because they believe there's a good chance that the Golden Lions are going to win?
Well, I mean, obviously it's homecoming, but that has nothing to do with anything. There's people in the state of Arkansas, Pine Bluff, Arkansas. They're prideful people. The legacy for dear mother, we know it'll be packed. But at the end of the day, we don't care if anybody's in the stand. I know they'll be here because they supported us all year. And obviously, for homecoming, the crowd's going to be a little more excited. And we just need to continue to get better every day and come out here and perform the way we know we can. It's obviously been a little frustrating because you've had an opportunity to win every game you've played. And so we need our home crowd this week to kind of get us over the hump. Obviously when everybody's homecoming, it was a nice crowd down there, the place we just played. So, but our kids will be excited, number one, because like I said, it's homecoming, but homecoming doesn't happen unless you win the game.
And Coach, there was a stretch of games here earlier this season where first one or two drives, you all were coming out scoring every time. In the past couple of weeks, it's been about toward the third drive before you finally got the offense going. What do you need to see from these guys to come out to those fast starts that you were having once again?
Well, at the end of the day, people are doing a good job, but we go back and we watch every game, and we're making the errors. I mean, and I don't mean this negatively towards anybody, but I mean, we're stopping ourselves. It's pre-snap penalties. It's guys missing blocks. The quarterback's doing a good job of checking it. Guys are not hearing the call. If we just tune in and be consistent with our teaching from the meeting rooms to the practice field, and like I said, we're stopping ourselves a lot of time. Obviously this week, the past week, we had 76 plays for only 332 yards, and we had penalties at the wrong time. We're driving the ball, we get knocked back. So, our offense is doing a pretty good job. We just got to be able to stay away from the penalties that's killing drives. And that's what's happened in the last two games. We came out the first couple drives, and guys are doing things they're not coached to do. And so we have to do a better job. I got to do a better job making sure they understand the importance of locking in when the game starts, like we had been doing early in the season.
All right, thanks, Coach.
Harry Daniels.
Good morning, Coach.
Morning.
Coach, can you compare your quarterback's play this past Saturday to the preseason All SWAC Offensive Player of the Year, his opponent, Miles Crowley, this past Saturday?
No, I can't. I mean, Miles Crowley is a good quarterback. I don't really concern myself with other people's quarterback. Mekhi Higgins is a good football player. That kid can do things that other kids can't do, other student athletes can't do. But Miles Crowley got the win. So, hey, my hat's off to him for leading his team. We gave up two big plays, and he was able to complete the ball. So that's a credit to him. And our quarterback was on the run. So their defensive line did a good job. And so if we got time, our receiver, he had 84 yards, but I mean, he should have had 160. I mean, he was behind the guy 3 times, but we couldn't get the ball off. So Mekhi's doing a really good job. I mean, I'm proud of him. But like I said, that's in the past. We need to get ready this week. Got a really good Mississippi Valley State team that put us on pretty good last year. And so our kids need to be ready to play the game and perform at the level that we think we can.
Thank you, Coach. Good luck.
Appreciate it.
Doc Holliday.
Good morning, Coach. How you doing today?
Morning.
It is homecoming in Pine Bluff. What are the things you're trying to make sure with your team to make sure they don't get distracted this week and be ready for the game on Saturday?
I mean, I don't know how they could be distracted. I mean, we just lost a game, and we're trying to build a program. And so winning teams don't get concerned with homecoming, okay? You keep the main thing the main thing. And the main thing is You got to come back to practice, correct the errors that you made on Saturday. And we got to stay focused. You got to go to class. Like I said, all the activities during the week, hey, that is for student body. That is for the alumni. It is our job, and our only job is to come out here and perform on Saturday. And then if we're blessed enough to get a victory, then they can enjoy homecoming. How can you enjoy homecoming? You didn't win the game, right? How can you be celebrating on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays on campus when you got practice? And why would you be hanging out trying to go to a club to celebrate with your student body? Like, we're not built like that. This program's not built like that. And as I told the players, all right, anybody that's found out doing anything that's not conducive to us winning this football game, they ain't gonna be here.
Appreciate you, Coach.
Still fielding questions for Coach Hampton. She loves thee.
Good morning, Coach. How you doing?
Good. Good morning.
So despite Giovanni Gibson leading in receiving yards, he was unable to find the end zone this week. How do you plan to keep the chemistry between him and Mekhi strong and ensure those explosive plays translate into touchdowns moving forward?
Well, I'm gonna say this: Giovanni had 6 catches for 84 yards. He was open 3 times for a touchdown. They got pressure on him. I mean, that kid is really talented, right? But I keep saying it, right? We have 4 more guys. Mekhi's doing a good job of spreading the ball around. This offense is not built around Giovanni, and I'm happy that he's getting the credit that he deserves. And Mekhi is doing a really good job. Our tight end was the leading catcher, right? Number 2 is a pretty good receiver. Number 82 is pretty good. And I got 2 more guys. I'm praying to God that this will be the week that they can get fully healthy and get back on the field because they can play. This offense is not a one-man offense. We want to be able to spread the ball around, want to be able to run the football. We got 3 running backs. Our running back will be back this week. So I'm excited about that. And this offense is continuing to grow. And we just got to show up a couple things so Mekhi doesn't take as many hits. But again, I mean, he's kind of like Houdini back there. I don't want him to be Houdini. I just want him to be able to hand the ball off and throw it where it needs to go. And he's done a really good job for us.
Okay, thank you, Coach, and good luck this weekend.
Appreciate it.
Once again, thank you for taking the time out to join us this morning, Coach, and we look forward to speaking with you next week.
Thank you.
Good morning. We're happy to be joined by head coach Kendrick Wade of Mississippi Valley. Good morning, Coach.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning. If you could just give us a opening statement about your team's most recent outing against Bethune.
Yeah, man, we came up short. Very disappointing performance. From us. We were looking forward to getting back home, going out there, putting on a good showing, and we didn't. We shot ourselves in the foot, snapping the ball over quarterback's head. We had some opportunity to make some big plays. We didn't. We came up short. Definitely got to give some props to Coach Woodie. It was 17-10 in the fourth quarter, and he faked the punt, from the minus 22-yard line, which is very gutsy, and that allowed him to be able to bleed the clock a little bit, go down there, kick a field goal, and essentially, seal the game. So, we turned our attention to Pine Bluff, a really good team, and like I said, we beat them last year. They're aware of it. We are as well. So we know we're gonna get their best shot. So we're looking forward to getting down there to Pine Bluff for their homecoming.
Thank you for that opening statement. Now we have questions first from Stephen Robinson.
Good morning, Coach Wade.
Stephen, my man, good morning.
Yep. Just curious to know right now, as far as the fan base, I know everybody's itching for that first win. Back-to-back weeks, you open up with the lead in the game, only though to somewhat let it slip away. But what is the message that you can tell the Valley fan base, Valley Nation, in terms of moving forward and having patience with your team?
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna keep chopping. That's what we do. We don't listen to any outside noise. At least I don't. We're gonna keep chopping. We're gonna stay true to the process. I would just tell the fans, be fans and support. We feed off of energy. So we got a up and coming program. So we need them just as much as they need us to go out there and do what we need to do. We ask them to do the same. Make sure that they bring the proper energy and juice that we need to feed off of. But again, we're going to stay the course. We're going to stay the course. We're going to keep our head down. We're not going to read any headlines. We're not on social media looking for any motivation about who's saying what. All I would say is just stay the course, and we're going to keep chopping away. And we hadn't wavered. We still believe, and each and every week we go out there, we expect to win. So again, we're going to stay the course.
All right. Thank you, Coach. Wish you well.
Thank you.
Tanner Spearman.
Good morning, Coach. You mentioned how last year you guys were able to beat UAPB. Last year, obviously, as you were preparing for that team, they had 3 different quarterbacks they were trying to work through, find somebody, and you held them to 175 yards passing. But now this year, they've got Mekhi Higgins. It's been his show, and he's been putting up a lot better numbers this year. Just looking at the film and getting your team and your defense ready for UAPB's passing game, what's the biggest difference you see this year versus last year?
But you said it. I mean, if you're going to be a good team in the SWAC, your quarterback play is going to be impeccable. I think he's one of the better quarterbacks in the SWAC. No disrespect to any quarterback we played. We think he's probably the best one to date. So, again, we got to be good. We got to be willing to cover. We got to put ourselves in some situation where we play man-to-man. We got to try to get to him to get him off his spot. When he's comfortable, he can stand back there and sling it around. You're in trouble. So, again, we got to get some pressure on this guy. We must get this guy off his spot. We got to keep him uncomfortable. We got to mix some coverages up. And like I said, because if he know where you are, where you're going to be, this kid can beat you. He's really good. He's a dual threat guy. And like I said, our work is cut out for us. But again, it's a great opportunity to go out there and get our first one. So I can tell you this, we're not laying down to anybody. We're hungry. We're ready. We need one. And we're looking forward to getting out there this weekend.
All right. Thank you, Coach.
Yes, sir.
Doc Holliday.
Coach Wade, how you doing today?
Doc, good morning, my man.
You had, as far as for Saturday, your offense kind of clicked to where you almost had 100-yard rushing with the Fabian Fant, and then you had Nathan Renberg go for over 100 yards receiving, and also Jackson Davis out there getting quite a few catches in the game. What are some things you want to try to implement as far as this week when it comes down to UAPB?
Well, I can tell you this. Fan had only 2 carries, and I'm pissed about that. That will not happen next week. He's one of the better playmakers in the SWAC, and we got to get the kid the ball a little bit more. When he get the ball, good things happen for us. So we have to be intentional about getting him the ball more. Nathan Renberg is a good football player. He was suspended the previous week, came back this week, and he went out there and he played pretty good as well. Jackson Davis, one of the best players in the conference. Jackson Davis got stopped at the 1-yard line, open field 1-on-1. I told Jackson, man, you got to get in the end zone. We got the ball at the first and goal from the 1. We didn't get it in. And again, we got to be able to put the ball in. But again, your playmakers got to make big time plays. And we're excited about those guys. But like I said, we got to feature our playmakers more. I told offensive coordinator, it's about players, not plays. So again, we got to make sure that we're implementing and putting things in place to go out there to highlight and showcase our players, opposed to trying to run out of plays if you want to run.
All right, appreciate you, Coach.
Yes, sir.
Stephen Robinson.
Yes, Coach, just if you can comment a little about Pine Bluff, and I know you already done your scouting and perhaps even watched them on film, but what stands out about their team and some of the challenges they could pose for you?
If you're gonna beat Pine Bluff, you better be ready to put up some points because they can score. I think they're prolific offense. They can put up points. They got some playmakers on the perimeter. The quarterback is really good. And if you guys been listening to Coach Hampton, he got a couple more guys in the garage that he ready to pull out as well. So you must be able to score. 10 points is not going to beat Pine Bluff. 14, 17 points is not going to beat Pine Bluff. You better be ready to put up 30 points if you're going to beat Pine Bluff. So again, we're looking at them. We see where they are. They're a really good team, but so are we. So our focus is still about us. If we go out and do what we're supposed to do, there's no disrespect to anybody we play. We give everybody their proper respect. That's what we do. But again, it's all about us. If we go out and play the way we're supposed to play and do the things that we're supposed to do, we know what we can do. So again, we continue to shoot ourselves in the foot. We just got to be better. And again, our focus hadn't changed. So again, it's still more about us than it is about Pine Bluff or any other opponent that we face. So again, we have to be locked in and focused on doing our job, Stephen. And that's what we focus on. We got in yesterday, had some honest conversations about some things that we need to improve on. And we look forward to attacking those things.
All right. Thank you, Coach.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Still fielding questions for Coach Wade. Coach Wade, we want to thank you for taking the time to join us this morning, and we look forward to speaking with you next week.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Next, we will be joined by head coach Bubba McDowell from Prairie View A&M at 10:25. Your time is now 11:25, and we're happy to be joined by head coach Bubba McDowell from Prairie View A&M. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning, gentlemen. Good morning.
Good morning. If you could just give us an opening statement about your team's bye week.
Again, we just came in the bye week and just kind of focus on getting back to the fundamentals of things. Just from trying to get things done the right way as often as possible again, and get it done out there on the practice field so we can make sure that is carried over into game time. A lot of situation games that we were in. Again, we just kind of shot ourselves in the foot a little bit and wasn't able to get the victories. So again, it was just more of us getting back to the fundamentals of things, offensively, defensively, self-scouting each other and seeing what we can do better to get better to win football games, and so that's what we did the off week and basically, more importantly, should I say, got guys healthy.
Thank you so much for that, Coach. Now we'll open the floor for questions from our media participants. Doc Holliday.
Doc, what up?
What's going on, Coach McDowell? How you doing?
What up, big fella?
All right, you got homecoming this week against A&M Commerce. What are the things that you've seen with this team that you think you can kind of actually exploit on offensive and defensive wise?
Offensively, again, and if they decide to go a lot of man, I think we got the athletes to get a lot of mismatches with them, and then I think for the most part, if we decide to do our bunch set with these guys, we're gonna be pretty successful. Because again, we got some guys that can get in and get open, and as we talked about during the off week, again, just about putting guys in position to make plays. As always, as well as anybody, we got to definitely open up that running game a little bit more. So, we're putting the onus on the O-line. Again, they got some guys, across from them, and they can do some damage if you let them. So again, it's just about us being physical up front, and then being able to capitalize on the things that we see, that we continue to see throughout the week that we can exploit them on. And again, I keep reiterating, Coach Wade said, we got to be put our athletes on the field and put the ball in their hands and let them do what they do. Defensively, defensively, again, we just got to be able to, do a lot of zone runs, do a lot of empty sets. And yeah, for us defensively, we just got to control that up front. If we can control the new line of scrimmage, I think we're gonna be okay. Got to be so gap sound with these guys. They got running backs again that can cut it back, and take it to distance. So we just got to be really sound in what we do and how we play this game against a good football team.
Appreciate you, Coach.
Still fielding questions for Coach McDowell? Coach McDowell, we want to thank you for taking the time to join us this morning, and we look forward to speaking with you on next week.
Absolutely. Good luck, guys, this week.
Up next, we will have Coach Terence Graves from Southern University at 11:35. At this time, we're happy to be joined by Coach Terence Graves of Southern University. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing great, Coach. If you could just start us off with an opening statement about your team's most recent outing against Alcorn State.
Well, we had a homecoming on campus Saturday. It was all week, rather. And it was a great environment. The game was sold out. People were everywhere. People didn't get in the stadium to after halftime. There's that many people on campus. Great atmosphere. Great to see the Jaguar Nation, all the alumni out. We faced a very good Alcorn State football team. Coach Thomas and his team came in at 3-0 and lead first place. And those guys came in. We knew they were going to be fired up and inspired. Also, the fact that their former head coach, Coach Fred McNair, is a part of our staff here at Southern University. So I knew those guys would be excited and wanted to, really win for a number of factors, but also to, to have a chance to beat their coach. And those guys, the game started off, they did a great job of stopping us on a couple of 4th and 1s. And then we messed around and they hit us for a big play that got on the board first. And then we responded. Noah came out and scored a touchdown. And then we had another touchdown and we turned the ball over right before halftime. I thought we had momentum going in, and wide receiver got stripped from behind, and they were able to capitalize before halftime, and we went in 14-14. And then the second half, it was back and forth, and then we got on some solid footing. Our defense played lights out, and our offense got in this groove, and we were able to control the clock and run the football. Offensive line did a tremendous job. We had 295 yards rushing, so we were able to eat the clock up, and defensively we were able to force turnovers. And so we did overall, it was just a great game, a great environment, great atmosphere, and we were very fortunate to come out with the win.
Thank you so much for those opening statements. We're going to take messages from the media. Jim Klein-Peter.
Yeah, Coach, you talked about the offensive line. You made some moves with them a couple of games ago. Would you talk about how those moves have worked out and how well they played?
Oh, it's been good, Jim. For the second week in a row, we didn't give up a sack. So to go into 2 weeks with some changes on the offensive line, those guys are really locked in and focused, and they're really working together. They're gelling. The offensive line Coach Damon Nivens, is doing a really good job of making sure that those guys are locked in and focused and doing what they have to do to make sure that our offensive schemes work, running and passing. And Coach Mark Frederick, our offensive coordinator, did a great job of telling, he took control of the football game. Told me on the headphones he was going to take some air out of the ball, and that's what he did. And offensive line, they locked in, they stepped up to the challenge and did a tremendous job. The running backs ran hard, receivers caught the ball well, and they blocked well downfield. So it was good to see the offense get on track.
And without giving anything away, can you take us through that Kendrick Grimes touchdown run and how the offensive line performed on that play? How did that kind of go?
Well, we were having success running the football, and Coach Damon Nivens talked to Coach Frederick and told him what he liked, and he called it. And Grimes the offensive line did a great job of gathering the defenders, getting a hat on the hat, and Kendrick Grimes, he trusted it as we always tell him to trust it, and he hit where he was supposed to hit. And once he did that, and once he gets out in the open, it's hard very few people are gonna catch Kendrick Grimes when he gets out in the open full speed. So it was just him being Kendrick Grimes doing a great job of creasing it and finding the end zone.
Thank you, Coach.
Welcome.
Perry Daniels.
Congratulations, Coach.
Thank you.
Let's stay on Kendrick Grimes. Make a case for him being the SWAC Offensive Player of the Year, Coach. Player of the Week.
Well, he had 133 yards rushing and a touchdown. He did a great job. Kendrick does a great job of blocking. He does a great job of catching the ball out the backfield as well. He's also a really good special teams guy. I leave that up to those who make the who make the decisions, but I certainly think that he had a great performance. And if he's able to become that person, or if he is that person, then hats off to him because and him and the offensive line because they worked hard at it.
Coach, and let's talk about going into Bragg Memorial Stadium. It's been a long time since this team has lost their coach, Florida A&M. What is the communication to your team regarding the task at hand Saturday?
Well, Coach Colzie is doing a tremendous job with that football team. They take on his personality and the rest of the coaches. But Florida A&M Bragg Stadium has always been a tough place to play. The crowd is in it. They're right on top of you. They do a great job of staying engaged along with the band. They all do all those things that makes for a great home field advantage. And so we have to, like I told the team, it's a tough place to play, but it's not impossible to play and play well. So we have to be our best selves. We have to make sure that we're locked in and focused. We have to execute, and we have to just do those things that are capable that we're capable of doing to put ourselves in the best position to give us a chance to win. I think everybody on any given day, and so we have to make sure that we're locked in and focused and paying attention to what we have to do because they have a really good football team, and we have to be ready to go when time comes.
Thank you, Coach. Good luck.
Thank you.
Doc Holliday.
Coach Graves, how you doing today?
I'm doing well, thank you.
All right. The stalemate, 14 tied up 14 going into the fourth quarter. Tell us about the change in the offensive play calling from Coach Frederick that kind of put y'all up ahead late in the game.
Well, Coach Frederick, he did what he felt like was necessary for us to win the football game. Whatever he saw or whatever he felt like he wanted to attempt to what he wanted to do. That's why he's the offensive coordinator. He radioed down to me what his intentions were, and the offensive line and the offense in general. They stepped up to what he asked them to do. And so it wasn't anything magic or anything special about it. He just said, "Hey, let's see what we can do with what we were doing offensively." And those guys stepped up and answered the bell. So hats off to him.
Appreciate you, Coach.
Thank you.
Melvin Beal.
Morning, Coach. How are you?
Fine, thank you. How are you?
I'm well. What do you expect to see from this Florida A&M football team, both offensively and defensively?
Well, they're very well coached football team, and that's traditionally Florida A&M since I've been coaching against them. They're gonna be physical. They're gonna be like the legendary coach Jake Gaither used to say. They're gonna be agile, mobile, and hostile. And those guys they're gonna get after it. They're explosive on offense. The quarterback does a really good job of finding receivers and controlling that offense. They have some really good running backs, receivers who can make things happen. Defensively, they're gonna get after you. They're gonna come. They're gonna bring pressure. They're gonna mix it up. They do a good job in the secondary and at the line, second level, the linebacker spotters. So and then they're solid in the kicking game. Those guys are well coached. They're aggressive. So the thing is, again, we have to be our best selves. And so we have to be our best selves. We have to pay attention to detail. We have to make sure that we execute the way we're able to execute because they have a good football team and we have a good football team. And so it's just going to be a matter of the guy who makes the most plays, who executes the best, will give themselves the best chance of winning the ball game.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
She loves thee.
Good morning, Coach Graves. How you doing?
I'm doing well, thank you. Good morning.
After there was a defensive battle in the third quarter, and your special team, Joshua Griffin, was able to get on the board in the fourth quarter with that field goal. And then, of course, you guys ended up pulling out a win, and you've secured the lead in the SWAC West. What is your message to your team about maintaining focus and consistency for the remainder of the season with the SWAC clinching the SWAC West in your sights?
Well, I basically tell them what I always tell them. You know, we live in the precious present. Can't worry about what's behind us, what's in front of us. We got to be right here in the here and now. And it's a great win. I told them after the game, it's a great win. Let's enjoy it for these next few hours, and then we got to turn our focus to the next opponent, which is Florida A&M. And as I tell the media, I tell everybody, you know, when you look at the championship, I look at the championship as an elephant. And the words of the late Coach Moore Forte, you don't eat an elephant whole, you eat them one bite at a time. So we just got another bite of that elephant to put us in position to reach our goals. But the focus is the focus. We gotta focus on Florida A&M. Nothing else matters. And I think they understand that, and that we're gonna work towards that.
All right. Thank you, Coach Graves. Good luck for this weekend.
I appreciate it.
Yes, sir. We appreciate you taking the time to join us this morning, Coach Graves, and we look forward to speaking with you next week.
All right. Thank you, everybody. Have a great day.
We're happy to be joined by Coach Chris Dishman of Texas Southern. Good morning, Coach.
Good evening, everybody.
If you could just give us an opening statement about your bye week.
Well, we practiced everything that possibly can happen in a football game. We practiced it, went over it, not just once, twice, or three times, but several times we've done that. Even though we practiced before, it's always good to get a refresher. The only thing we didn't practice is to be at home and be visitors. So we never practiced that.
Thank you so much for that. We'll take questions from the media, starting with Charles Bishop.
How you doing, Coach?
How you doing, Charles? How things going?
Doing well, sir. I wanted to ask this question in taking a look at the bye week. Did you have, I guess, any light bulb moments or epiphany moments where you look back and say, okay, the rest of the season we're going to do a few things, I don't know, different or in another manner?
Well, to answer your question, no, I did not. But to do things different, we got to win at home. We haven't, our stadium downtown, we have not won a game there. So we have to be able to win at home first and foremost.
Sure thing, Coach. Just looking at the health of your team, how is the health of the team going forward?
We're pretty healthy. You know, all our running backs are healthy. You know, of course, our quarterback is still not as healthy as we want him to be, but you know, we have others there. Other people have to step up. We can't rely on one or two people and think we're going to win a championship. Everyone who's behind that person has to step up. And in order for us to win and keep in the hunt with Southern, then we got to win out.
Sure thing. Appreciate that, Coach.
Doc Holliday.
Morning, Coach. How you doing today?
Doc, you?
I'm doing good. Tell us the things that you see on film from Grambling that you think you can kind of try to exploit in the game on Saturday.
Well, as coaches, you try to scour through the film to see what you can do offensive, defensive, special teams to help you win a football game. They have shown different finds that I think can help us win this game. Like I said, so we're just going to go out and each and every these next 5 weeks and put our best effort forward, our best foot forward, and hope the outcome come.
All right. Thank you, Coach.
Mm-hmm.
Terence Harris.
Hey, Coach, how you doing?
Mr. Harris.
Hey, I wanted to ask you,
in this first year, and I know it's still early, but what's been the biggest thing you've learned as a head coach, with this program?
The biggest thing I learned is, as coaches, we are now people. We always and always will be a noun person. We have to have stuff now. And the biggest thing I learned is there's no tomorrow in coaching. It's always the now. And that's what I've learned of. Some people works in tomorrow, where we work is in the now. So I've learned to have a little bit more patience and try to do it tomorrow, but tomorrow can get you fired. That's why I try to work in the now.
Okay, thanks. And also, you mentioned the quarterback situation. Who do you plan on starting this week, or do you even know at this point?
I don't know. It depends on who have a good practice today and this week. That's who will start. We're an equal opportunity team. Those who perform well in practice will start.
Okay, thanks, Coach.
Still fielding questions for Coach Dishman. Mr. Harris.
Well, I'll jump in and ask you another question. Hey, what do you think of the new strength and conditioning facility? What are your impressions of it?
It's a very good facility. It's a standalone facility. It has all the racks we need. It has everything we need as far as football team to get in there and get started. We're looking forward to this week of getting in there and having our first full team lift instead of having one group go, then the next group go. All 110 of us can get in there and work out, which is very exciting.
And how much does something like that help kind of level the playing field in your mind?
Well, it helps to level the playing field, but like I said, we need to be able to get into our own stadium and have some practices, and have some practices. The difference between practicing on grass and practicing on turf. Unfortunately, we have a turf field there at practice, and then we go and play on grass. So we need to get our kickers in there practicing, kicking off of the grass. So that's what we're able to go to our local high schools and have our kickers do that this week. Fortunate for the bye week, and just try to practice every little thing that's possible to come up.
Thanks, Coach.
Do we have any more questions for Coach Dishman? Coach Dishman, thank you for taking the time to join us this morning, and we look forward to speaking with you next week.
All right, sounds great. Have a great one.
Next, we will be joined by head coach T.C. Taylor of Jackson State at 11:55. We're happy to be joined by Coach T.C. Taylor of Jackson State. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning. How you doing?
Doing great, and yourself?
I'm doing great. Doing great.
At this time, if you could just start us off with the opening statement about your team most recent outing.
Great football weekend for JSU football. You know, we came away with a great win against a great football team, really good football team. A lot of athletes were on display this past weekend. A lot of scouts in-house, and just pleased the way my team came out and played for 4 quarters and found a way to win. We got some turnovers on the defense. Offensively, we got to protect the ball. We did have 4 turnovers on that side of the ball. Special teams played well, but hats off to Coach Colzie and his staff and his football team. You know, they really came in here and played a great game. It was a championship level field in there in the vet this past weekend, but very proud of my team and where we are right now as a program. But, you know, we got to put that behind us and look forward to going down here to Bethune and Daytona and, you know, playing them for their homecoming this weekend.
Thank you so much for that opening statement. We'll now have questions from our media, starting with Doc Holliday.
Coach Taylor, how you doing today?
I'm good. How you doing, Doc?
I'm doing good. I'm trying to get my energy back up from this weekend. But a lot of people was asking a question about throwing on first down where we had the run that was going good for us. Tell us what was the mindset about that going just passing on first down.
Well, usually, you know, heavily in the last few weeks, we've been a heavy run on first down. You know, you just try to keep, you know, defense is unbalanced, you know, try to come up with some good quick game ideas where you can steal those 4 and 5 yards on some of those first down calls. So it was a deal in our game plan that we just felt like we could, you know, change some things up and, you know, get some easy completions for Jacobian on some first down situations. So that was the thought process there.
And then my second question, I know the hit heard around the SWAC. What was your feeling and just your mindset about that play?
The one you talking about, Jacobian got hit?
Nah, the Daniel Richardson.
Oh yeah, when True Thompson got to him.
Yeah,
he you know, is that Dorado G baby as we call him, our kicker missed that kick, that long field goal. The defense was jogging past him, and you can hear him tell him like, "Hey, we finna go get this ball back. You know, we finna go find a way to get this ball back." True just did a great job. Our D tackle did a great job of, you know, defeating a double team. He splits a double team, and you know, he just laid into him. You know, he never checked up, ran through the guy's chest, did a good job of creating a turnover. And Philip Webb has been playing good football as well all year. For him to pick that up and get it in the end zone was awesome. Just a big time play. And, you know, I played a lot of games in the vet, you know, and coached some games in the vet, but that was probably the loudest I ever heard it get on that particular play.
Yeah. Thank you, Coach, and you have a good one.
All right, you too. Thank you.
Kendrick Marshall.
Yeah, Coach. I could help not notice that you were pretty fired up about the outcome of the football game. You were really enthusiastic with your assistant coaches and your players. How much does the win mean for you, and why did it mean so much to you?
It's just the way that they dominated us last year, you know, and we know what this game, a game like this means for our program. You're talking about a team that was ranked FCS nationally, you know, one of the top teams in HBCU football. So, you know, as a head coach, I got to get the energy level up and make sure our guys are playing at a high level, make sure these coaches, you know, are coaching at a high level. But, you know, it means a lot. It means a lot. But I told the team today, you know, the rest of the way, you know, the word is complacent. I don't want to get complacent and just get up for the FAMU game. We got to play hard in each and every game that we got going forward. But still a lot of football left. You know, still the East is undecided, the West is undecided. So we still got to play good football and go out here and execute each and every weekend.
Just want to talk about your defense. I know True made the big hit, the sack fumble at the end of the game, but your defense held FAMU to no points in the second half. What adjustments did you guys make to kind of make that happen?
Well, that's all on our defensive coordinator and that defensive staff, Coach Quinn. You know, they had 3 explosive plays and those 3 touchdowns in the pass game. And then, like you said, after that, our D-line turned up their level of play. Our 2 linebackers played a phenomenal football game, Reed Pulliam and Ashton Taylor. They got after, you know, we talked about the True Thompson hit right there in the forced fumble, but Pulliam comes back the next series and, and dislodges the ball, and Asher Taylor, the other linebacker, recovers it. So, and for them to take a lot of heat off of the A&M game, they didn't play their best game, and for them to come back and respond, I can't say enough about those guys, on the defensive side, the coaches as well as players.
Appreciate it, Coach.
No problem.
She loves thee.
Hey, Coach, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. So it's a big emotional win for FAMU, and you're taking it's a comfortable lead in the SWAC East. How do you plan to keep the team grounded and focused, especially heading into a matchup with Bethune-Cookman for their homecoming? So what's going to be the approach to maintain that intensity and avoiding any letdowns?
Today I told them we just got to keep practicing and preparing like we've been preparing each and every week. We know that was a big win for us, but that didn't decide the Eastern Conference yet, the Eastern Division yet. So we still got a ways to go, and they understand that. These dudes really practice hard each and every week. The three days we're out there on the practice field, they get after each other really well, and they want an opportunity to win the East. And they're doing that. They're preparing like that, and that's how they're approaching these football games. But they know we still got a long ways to go before that's done.
And just as a follow-up question, in the first half, we saw FAMU was running this kind of play where they would clap their hand and then kind of like calm themselves down. They'll kind of fake look to their side of the coaches, and so that would make the DBs relax. And we saw a couple of times that they caught some of our DBs off guard. What was the adjustment made from the first half to the second half to ensure that they don't get caught off guard?
Just to be ready for it, like you said, they had the explosive play off of it early on, and that was a great scheme, great adjustment by their coaching staff. I've seen some teams do it, but nobody in this conference has done it to us for that matter, and that was the first time we saw it. So anytime something like that happened, you got to rely on the coaches to get over there, get it coached up. But a well-schemed deal by FAMU and that offensive coaching staff to do what basically was a check with me, and then just to snap the ball at that tempo, that's going to catch a lot of people off guard probably the first couple times. But, Coach Quinn and that staff, they did a great job of making an adjustment and coming out and playing better in the second half.
All right. Thanks, Coach, and good luck next week.
All right. Thank you. Take care.
Charles Bishop.
Hey, Coach, how you doing?
What's up, Chuck? I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I wonder, I don't know if this group gets enough credit, but talk about the work your offensive line has done this season. A staple week in, week out is Jackson State rushing for over 100 yards.
Yeah, I mean, they are a big physical group, that really plays with a chip on their shoulder. They compete against each other. They all want to be the best one up there, but to get Evan Henry back, Chuck, in this game, we didn't think he would play in this game. For him to suck it up and go out there and play good football, and we went out there and rushed for 245 yards against a good football team. I can't say enough about that group. They do a great job of keeping, the quarterbacks clean. And when we ask them to run the ball, they go out there and get it done. They had a big goal line deal where I told them, like, if we can score this touchdown, we can put them away right here. And they was like, run behind me, coach, run behind me. These guys really, they play well together. They're a close-knit group, but it goes back to the O-line coach. Coach Maynor Ramirez has done a great job with those dudes. It's just blessings to get him over here. A guy brought in that came over from Tech that was at Texas Southern, and they have really just bought on to what he's teaching in that room.
Oh, sure thing. I appreciate that, Coach.
No problem. Thank you, Chuck.
Mm-hmm.
Still have time for one more question for Coach. Doc Holliday.
Hey, Coach. I want to know what the adjustment for the defense was from the first half to the second half, where you basically limited them to, like I said, no scoring in the second half, and also kind kind of pretty much held them in check on rushing the ball. What was the adjustment that y'all made for the second half?
Yeah, just going into that game, we always have done a great job against, teams that want to run the football. And we love to make guys, teams one-dimensional, and I thought they did a good job of that. FAMU has a strong, big physical O-line, and I thought our D-line would match up well with them. Going against their quarterback, we wanted to make him throw from the pocket. We wanted him to make those throws from the pocket. And that's what they did. They kept him bottled up in the pocket, and we wanted him to beat us from the pocket. And we knew if he was in that pocket, we could get to him. A lot of his explosive plays are just, him scrambling to his right and throwing the ball down the field, allowing those receivers to get open. And I think the question was earlier, the one big adjustment we had to make was the whole check with me system they had going. They had got a couple of explosives off that play, off that particular scheme. So that was the one major thing that we had to fix going into that second half. And they did a good job.
All right, appreciate you, Coach.
No problem. Thank you.
Thank you so much for taking the time to join us this morning, Coach, and we look forward to speaking with you next week.
All right. Thank you, guys. Appreciate you.
This concludes our SWAC football media session for Monday, October 21st. All media sessions are archived on YouTube on the SWAC Digital Network. Thank you for joining us and have a great day.